absolutely love the music. Hey, well, I don't guess I could let that play in the background while we're continuing on with Live with the Shaman, can we? Eh, Probably be a little bit distracting. So, oh well. As always, the link to the music is posted in the description in the upper right corner just above your chat area. All right, Live with the Shaman, welcome back. This week we will be finishing up on the priesthood training. We'll recap a little bit. We'll go over some of what's left over, if you will, from last week or from the other training. Yeah. So, hope everyone has had a good couple of weeks. I was not on last week because I had one hell of a sinus infection. Yeah, pretty nasty. I was able to do Open Pagan Church just barely. Um, so, a bit of a public service announcement, if you will, just for a moment. Um, Live with the Shaman does have an email address. I don't know if any of you know that, but we do have an email address. It is Celtic Shamanism at gmail.com. That's Celtic Shamanism at gmail.com. The best way to get in touch with me or get a hold of me actually is through that email. Also, if you have questions about Open Pagan Church on Sunday, we also have an email there, openpaganchurch at gmail.com. Right. So that being said, let's get on with it. I noticed we don't have any live viewers this morning. Most everybody probably had things they needed to do, and that's perfectly fine. It's not going to take me a whole lot of time to go over what needs to be covered today. So that being said, let's muddle on with it, and here we go. Right, so we're going to continue on part 7 today. We're going to be finishing up the ministry training, and we're going to recap a little bit of what it is to be a priest within the Grove of the Celtic Shaman, or the GCS, depending on whatever you're comfortable saying there. So, presuming you decided not to go into the ministry, um, if you don't, you don't have an idea of what has to be done. You 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 now have an idea. That's screwed that up. There you go. You have an idea what has to be done. You now have an idea that the core of what ministers do is not easy. And, what a priest does within their community, especially as a shaman, typically once you reach the priesthood, to the community, you're just known as shaman. Okay? Your actual title, that's moss necks. Some groups want to know how many years you've been in training. Typically, you can say within my grove, I've reached the priesthood. I've been in it 3 years, 4 years total. So it just kind of all comes back around to there. I do apologize. I will have to mute from time to time and blow my nose. I still do have a bit of the sinus infection going on. My apologies for that. But one thing about it, as shaman, we are human, and we do have these human illnesses. Onward and upward as we go. So right, we can delete this line. Come on down. To finish off your priesthood training, hey, you'll need to return to the beginning. And here's one of the things that you learn as a student within the GCS. We always return to the beginning. We we return to where we came from. It's highly important to us as shaman, not just ministers, not just pagan, but as people, especially as shaman. It's imperative, it's highly important that we remember where we came from. We remember our training, we remember the basics. So you'll hear a lot your teachers telling you, go back and review your tradition, review your thoughts, review where you come from, review who you were. Okay, so that's always a good thing. Now, so you always want to return to the beginning, the place where you started. Return back to your basics. At the end of the day, this is no joke. We do not do what we do for power or control over others. And as a honorable or humble shaman, we I have seen shamans out there that utilize their power. They use their power over others. They use their power to gain minion over others. And if any one of the teachers or leaders within the GCS catches you doing that, and we will eventually if you're doing it, we'll find out. You will be stripped of your rank. In some cases, you can be stripped of your rank all the way back to a first year, and you can have your ass kicked out of the GCS. We are very serious about this. Some of you will drop out. You'll drop back and regroup. You know, about now is when a lot of people do that. I've got a first year that she just was invited to the dedicee for the priesthood, and she stepped back for a bit. She's dropped back for a bit, and is stepping out and finding out what the world is like as a priestess of shamanism. Um, I hate it when people do that because they end up becoming disillusioned, disheartened, and confused. We lose a lot of good students and a lot of good people that way. Periodically, they do come back and go, okay, look, I'm as confused as a termite in a yo-yo. What the hell am I doing wrong? Well, to begin with, you made it to high school and you dropped out. So let's go back and let's regroup. Let's not start your training completely over because that's rhetorical and ridiculous. So you're still a priest, but you need to go back. You need to regroup. Remember where you came from and decide where you're going. Very important. Uh, Back seat. Now, as a priest, as a priest within the GCS, we don't demand you take on students. Though you will find by the guidance of the council of the GCS, you'll find by the guidance of Spirit Guide, you will be sent students in spite of yourself. You will find yourself teaching people in spite of yourself. You'll find yourself helping people, working with people. Whether or not you dedicate them, whether or not you actually take them, bring them under the fold of GCS proper, that's up to you. This is the reason why seekers and first years are not allowed to actually oath to the Grove of the Celtic Shaman. They oath to the tradition that you trained by, which I hope is the GCS tradition. And then once they reach the priesthood and you submit them for dedication, it's up to them whether or not they dedicate to continue on as a priest. You got to remember, um, when you're a teacher, Spirit will send you the very people who need help with the same things that you do. What this means is council has a very interesting sense of humor. They will send you people to council that has a lot of the same problems you do. They will send you students that will test your knowledge and your wisdom and your ability to teach in the areas in which you are the weakest. Boy, I have found this out more times than one. Remember that. Always remember too, right? Teacher, priest, leader, right? Um, we're all students. We're we're all clients, and we need the leadership of Spirit. The day you think you're above guidance, this will be the day you lose all credibility with Spirit and the community as a whole. Walk true, be well, and listen in your path. I can't I can't stress enough that listening to your students, um, listening to your clients, listening to people that come to you for help. I can't stress how important this is. Don't read anything into what they're telling you. A lot of students that you're going to come across, you may find that they have problems with paranoia. You may find that they have extreme problems with um, being overzealous with a problem, being over accentuating, um, taking a broken fingernail and making it a broken finger, perhaps. In your training of the GCS, you'll learn the difference between an uh-oh, a holy shit, an 811, and a 911. They're all handled differently. The uh-oh is, damn, I spilt milk, or damn, I broke a fingernail, or, you know, damn, I made a mistake. What is the outcome of the mistake? How far is it rolled? How far is it snowballed? What has been the outcome of that mistake? These are things that all of these little nuances that you're going to learn in your priesthood training. And to be absolutely freaking totally honest with you, that's about it. There is so much that goes on within the priesthood training that there is absolutely no way it can be written. Between you seeking out the Grove of the Celtic Shaman and you becoming a first year and you making it through your priesthood training, whether you decide to become a pagan minister or not, whether you decide to continue on as a priest or not, there will be so much that happens that there is just almost absolutely no way you can put it all on paper. There really isn't. So one of the things we're going to be starting next week is going to be the high priest training. It's going to be part 8. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that. And we're going to save as in my Dropbox. Right. So, part 8 will be high priest training. So, where to from here? Well, I want to talk just a little bit about the seriousness of what we do. Time for a beat. I have people that periodically come into the live broadcast and they're like, why don't you have more people watching live? I don't know. Maybe they don't want to get their ass out of bed. Maybe they have other things to do on a Sunday. Maybe they have family. You know, to us, family is most important. But I promise you, if as dedicated as I am to these broadcasts, if my family has an emergency, if if I have something that I have planned with my family, I will reschedule these broadcasts. My family comes first. And this is one of the things that you learn through your training with the Grove of the Celtic Shaman. Let's think about it. Spirituality is something that you are. You live it, you breathe it, you you ingest it. It becomes a part of who and what you are on a daily basis. Your path, whether you are a witch, a shaman, a druid, fae, asatru, whatever, whether you're Christian, Jewish, Muslim, agnostic, atheist, I don't care. Your spirituality is who and what you are. You, I hope, live it. But the biggest thing we stress is because I live who I am and because I try so very hard to walk the talk. I do not expect anyone else to do the same. Now, my students, that's a little different. If you're one of my oath students, my expectations for you are high, and I will yank a knot in your ass if they're not met. But I'm your teacher. It's what I do. I give you a pat on the head when you're doing well. Good job. Well done. I give you a smack on the ass, or a metaphysical smack, if you will, when you're screwing up. But I also help you pass that. And I hope that you will do the same when you are working with your students and you're teaching your students. Being a priest or priestess, I just use universal word priest, in the GCS can be very rewarding. It can be very daunting. It can be sleepless nights. It can be time spent communicating with your teacher when you would rather be out, I don't know, drinking, having fun with your friends, smoking a little doober, whatever it is you do. That's between you and spirit. But if you're dedicated to me as your teacher, I will hold you to a higher standard than I do most other people. My expectations for you are higher, and the rest of the teachers in the Grove, and the rest of the leaders of the Grove have pretty much the same expectations. They have been taught from day one. They're held to a higher level of expectations. Many people drop out of the Grove because of the discipline. Many people drop out of the Grove because we don't have sit down, beat you over the head with a switch classes. As a shaman, you learn by life. You learn by life examples. You learn by your elders. You learn by doing. And you also learn by knowing when not to do. I have people come to me all the time on chat. I have this power and I have that power and I want you to teach me how to use it. No. I'm first going to teach you how to find out who you are. And in doing that, you will learn when to and when not to use your power. You'd be amazed at the things that people tell me they can do. And I have two words I say to that. Show me. I'm a show me person. Okay? Videos. I know too much about video editing, graphics editation to know that videos can be edited. I know too much about artificial moving of things, if you will, on a tabletop, like a piece of paper or a piece of cotton or something. A breath in the right place, breathing out the nose just right, can form a little cushion of air and make it move. I know all the tricks, been there, seen it, done it. But as a priest, in your priesthood training, you will learn what a bullshit meter truly is if you hadn't already learned within your first year. Yes, today's video is very short, but I want to remind you how important a priest within your path really is. Whether it's with the Grove of the Celtic Shaman, whether you're in one of the Wiccan covens, each of your different groups has different variables that you graduate to as you learn more. It's not a joke. It really isn't. So, as always, we're going to give you back your Sunday. We'll see you next week when we start the high priesthood training. You're going to be amazed at just how quick those classes are, because most of them taking on more responsibilities, living more with life. You're judged more on your life actions and what you do and how you do within the community. So keep that in mind as you get ready for your high priest training. Thanks again for watching. We will see you next here, Nothing Rips, Strips, or Tears, on Live with the Shaman. Have a great day.